The NFL stands for not for long.
Set Sharga and Armstead. Roll out. Walker still running out. Looks to the left. Wide open. Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofton corner the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
Yeah. Let's rock and roll, baby. Jack in the Back's producing the heck. What's up, Mike? I made that myself.
Who put that together?
I made that myself.
I'll tell you what. The athleticism to get that first ball was nice.
They're the 3 catches I've had in my career. Thank you very much. And not all of us can just play football for a living, Mike. Some of us today maybe have to walk their dog, work out for 3 hours. Let's see what else. Power wash for 3 hours. My hands are still shaking. Get electrocuted. My dog bit my $250 sunglasses. There they go. Everything else, though, it's good. I think I broke my pinky toe, stubbed it on the coffee table. Other than that, it's been a great day. I'm jacked to have you on. Super Bowl champ. Well, how was your day, Mike? What'd you do today?
Day was great, man. Got up, worked out for a while, did some recovery stuff, watched some tape, just getting ready for the season, man. It's been a great offseason so far. I gotta ask, what were you power washing, by the way? We think a deck. Washing. What were you doing?
There's a concrete deck outside of my house with some lawn furniture on it. Power wash that. Power wash the deck. I still have the table to do, and also power wash the Blackstone flat top. So just getting it ready. Did a couple of the windows. Just getting ready for the summer season. Cleaning things up, Bert. Cleaning things up.
I love it. Hey, Memorial Day's not too far away. You got to have that ready to go in case you have some people over. I hear you.
So Michael Burton this offseason signed with the Denver Broncos. We're so jacked for him for that. What a great opportunity Mike's going to have there. And won a Super Bowl with Kansas City, which we'll talk about today. But we're keeping this loose and light and fun. Mike and I went to the NFL broadcast media workshop. 100 guys applied, 25 got in, and Mike and I are extremely humbled and blessed. We were part of the 25. And he's like, hey, let's do something with your show every week. I said, great, let's do it. So every week, bi-weekly, something like that. This will be an additional episode or the main episode, depending on how things go, of me and Mike just chopping it up. But first and foremost, which we have to dive into, Mike, is it pork roll or is it Taylor ham?
It's Taylor ham. We've discussed this how many times? It is Taylor ham and will always be Taylor ham. There's never been pork roll. I don't know why you ask.
Did you follow that guy? You follow that guy who eats all the pork roll, egg, and cheeses?
Oh yeah. He goes around to all like the delis and stuff and gets the Taylor ham, egg, and cheeses. Absolutely. He went to one that I grew up going to whole life. Chester Bagels, Chester, New Jersey. He did an episode on that. It was awesome. It was great.
Is it salt, pepper, ketchup? How do you get yours?
Taylor mac and cheese, everything bagel, salt, pepper, ketchup.
Yeah, everything bagel. I can do salt, pepper, ketchup for sure, but everything bagel is literally the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to pork roll, egg, and cheeses.
Yeah, Taylor mac and cheeses. Yes, you're exactly right.
I'll leave this as we move forward here, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl. And listen, it's like saying ham is a Dietz and Watson or a Boar's Head. Taylor ham. Taylor's the brand. Dietz and Watson, Nathan's hot dogs. It's a hot dog. It's pork roll. So we'll move forward. All right, Mike won the Super Bowl this year. Played with some great players. Again, we're going to keep it loose. We're going to keep it light. Mike played at Rutgers. Was a walk-on. For those that don't know, Mike's been on the show a bunch of times. Draft pick. You know what? We're going to sway because Mike, again, had an amazing career. He's going on year 9. But I heard from Yoni, our boy, you were a great lacrosse player?
Yes, I was. Hate to pat myself on the back, but my first offer actually was lacrosse, not football. And oddly enough, it was Rutgers University where I ended up going to play football instead of lacrosse. Yeah, so chose to walk on at Rutgers, play football instead of lacrosse. In fact, stopped playing lacrosse my senior year so I could focus that entire spring in the summer on football because we started the summer program. We had to go to summer school, so I was heading out early June. So didn't play lacrosse. And that whole spring was just, weights, football stuff, getting ready. Because I had to put some weight on. I was going in as a fullback, and I was running back in high school, so I had to gain a little bit of weight. So I just wanted to start that process a little bit quicker.
And that's great foresight of you. Now, how did that land amongst your teammates, amongst your coaches, amongst the Rutgers lacrosse coaches?
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult decision. Never want to quit something that I've been playing for a large part of my life. But I think the coaches and the guys close to me understood where my passion was, where my love was, and that was football. And understanding that I was a walk-on, right? So I had to do everything I could, take advantage of every opportunity I had to prepare myself, for my freshman year. So they understood. They were great too. They ended up having a great season. I still supported them, went to the games and all that kind of stuff. But it was definitely a personal decision I had to make. It was tough, but just had to make it.
I can only imagine, because I go through that battle with some of the people that I coach right now, some of the kids, high school kids I coach right now. Oh, they can't play there. They're not good enough. They didn't get a scholarship. They can't do it. I mean, how many times did you hear that?
Oh, you heard it a bunch, But my heart was set on playing Division I, and it was really set on staying in New Jersey and going to Rutgers for whatever reason. I just wanted to go there ever since really middle school. Then I went to the camps as a freshman and sophomore, and I was like, this is a place to be. I was just hoping that I would get an opportunity, whether it be scholarship or walk on, and thankfully I got that. I will say that stopping playing lacrosse and playing football doesn't mean I'm not a fan of a multi-sport athlete. I know parents question, should I just have my daughter or son be one sport athlete? I don't agree with that. I think as you're growing up, play every single sport. They all have different pros and cons to it. Love lacrosse, team sport, still had that physicality of football. That's why I enjoyed it. But it was just the timing. I wanted to make sure those last 3 or 4 months was focused on football, but I'm a multi-sport advocate over here for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was on the other perspective, or I'm one of the top tight ends in the country. And like my football coaches didn't have a good relationship with basketball. And they're like, he's got to live with us, blah, 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 all this stuff. So they kind of held it against the basketball coaches. And then all of a sudden I was done playing basketball, which yes, was good. I was able to focus more, but for someone like me, I needed more on my plate. I was always a better student when I was in season. I was always just I'm like that as a grown up. I have to have a full plate. And I'll create things to make the plate full, as you know. So for me, I regret not playing basketball my junior and senior year. As the offers came in, I trying to gain more weight. I lost a little bit of athleticism, I think, maybe not, but I gained weight quicker, which wasn't always the best for my structure. And I ended up breaking my feet multiple times, as you know the story, and people that are listeners to this show know the story. So I digress. Again, again, this is going to be a little bit of a segment, fun series with Mike. So I'm going to be talking about different things all the time with Mike. And like I said, it's a 15-20 minute thing that's kind of fun, loose, and light. But the Super Bowl, there's so many things to talk about. But I want to talk about the halftime show, or let's talk about this. Let's talk about kickoff, because there's a lot of things. And the hardest thing for me as a friend is to now bring things to light and present to an audience that you and I have already had these conversations for. That's my hardest part about interviewing my friends. So you mentioned something this past week about how long you waited for kickoff. Can you tell that story?
Yeah. So pregame in itself was very long. National anthem was amazing, long. And then there was even, breaks after that. That was long too. Almost had to kind of re-warm up. Then you get in the huddle for kickoff. Then we go out. So then you're like, okay, it's go time. Like juices are flowing. You're ready to roll. Think it's going to happen. Typically, ref walks out, hands the ball to the kicker, puts it down, boom, we're going. But it was a solid, again, maybe it wasn't as long as I think it was, but it felt like an eternity out there. It could have been another 4, 5, 6 minutes. I couldn't believe how long it was. I'm standing around, just looking around like, when are we getting this thing kicked off? But I was just happy and thankful to be out there. But it definitely was interesting how long it took. It had to be commercials and that kind of stuff going.
How many times did you jump up and down and do footwork to keep your legs warm? Because you're a psychopath, so you don't think you're warm.
Yeah. All the jumps, the quick feet, over the line and stuff, just trying to stay warm, high knees, you name it.
That's why the field was trash, because you're running around destroying it.
The 5 yards accelerations, whatever I could do just to kind of stay loose and get ready to go for that kickoff. Because as you've been on it. That's a 60 yard sprint, if not more. So you want to stay loose for that for sure.
It's a 60-yard lumber for me, Mike. Now was that I think it was a touchback.
It was opening. Actually, every kickoff and KOR on my side when we were receiving the ball was a touchback. We had 2 live punts, which I had a tackle on one of them. I think we had 2 live punts and then a few live punt returns. But I think kickoff return was all through the back of the end zone.
Gotta love that. So at the end of the day, folks, you're going to see Mike's plays in the Super Bowl. How many plays you play? How many did you play? How many plays?
Oh, handful. Probably close to 8 or 10, I guess, combined offenses and special teams. I would say combined. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a couple freebies for those who don't know. That's called player performance bonus, where you get paid per play. And it's Mike. How do people get paid out of it? I always thought it was when you're drafted, but now I hear it's based off who's in your room. You know that better than I do.
The player performance.
Yeah.
How that's paid. I don't understand it completely, but I will say I know it's based on salary. So my understanding is an individual who makes a significantly higher salary would get less per play versus somebody who maybe has a lesser salary. That's where they kind of balance it out. That's kind of a broad overview of it. I think that's kind of a concept of it, at least. I don't know the exact details, but that is my understanding is that's kind of the way it works.
Yeah. So
that's
we would
based off salary.
When we were on kickoff return, the ball would go back
draft.
again. I think it's drafted, undrafted, and then it's based off of your room. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be drafted, undrafted. As you can see, undrafted guys who end up like starting that rookie year, they make an absurd amount of player performance as opposed to like a first round pick. So I think there's something to do with draft picks and salary mix in there as well.
So to explain what we're talking about right now, essentially what it is where you get drafted or where you get slotted. Okay, let's see. Under the performance-based pay program, a fund is created and used to supplement form of player compensation based on the comparison of playing time to salary. Players come eligible to receive a bonus distribution in any regular season in which they play at least an official down. In general, players with higher playtime percentages and lower salary benefits get most of the pool. Player performance commuted by so there you go. You get player. It's all based off salary. Okay, I get it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
You're a lower salary guy and play a ton.
Wow.
That makes sense.
So Mike Epps, this is unbelievable. 2022, Mike Epps of the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a 6th-round pick. He made $880,000 on player performance bonus.
So he must have been a starter and a lower draft pick. So that's what I meant before by lower draft pick, lower salary, and you're a starter and play a ton of snaps. You'll see your player performance be significantly higher for sure.
No doubt about it. Let's look up Mike Burton's real quick and see if we can bring up his number publicly on here. I love it. Let's see if it's top 25. You're not in the top 25, pal.
So okay.
Well, bummer. These guys are getting paid, dude. Big time paid.
Yeah.
Good for them. So what's the family like right now? You got a 5-on-5 basketball league starting at the house.
Yeah, not quite. Hopefully one day, but not quite. Right now, 2 daughters, 2.5, 7.5 months, and wife. They're back home while I'm out in Denver for OTAs and stuff, and I'll be able to see them on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. But they're doing great. Oldest daughter's in school 3 days a week. She's getting into a really good routine, meeting some friends and that kind of stuff. So it's been a smooth transition, for them, and it's been good.
Okay, I guess I want to talk. It's hard because there's a lot of things that we talk that I want to bring up. But do you have a cut story for it? Because I think they're always fun. We look back and laugh now, but in the time it was like, oh shit, I'm getting cut. Did you get cut from anybody in your career?
Have I been cut?
Detroit?
Yeah, absolutely. Detroit. Oh yeah. Can
you tell that story?
Yeah. So I got cut in. It was the spring of 2016. So about halfway through-ish OTAs, which makes sense because right around Memorial Day, I remember. And actually, it wasn't as bad as some guys' cut stories may happen. I actually am pretty appreciative of how it went down, just because they knew kind of at that point it wasn't gonna be a scheme fit with the fullback and that kind of stuff. We had just hired a new offensive coordinator, and they were kind of getting away from it. So I was actually pretty thankful they did it. Middle of OTAs, it allowed me to find another team, find another fit, before training camp and stuff like that. I suppose they could have kept me through the end of OTAs and into training camp, and obviously I wouldn't have been able to find a home and that kind of stuff. But so yeah, I got drafted there, built a lot of strong relationships there, really enjoyed my time there earlier in my career. But it's just a business. Coaches come and go as players come and go, and you just got to adapt and be flexible and all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't change it. It's led me to where I am today, and I'm beyond blessed and thankful for the opportunity that I'm in right now. So you never let getting cut, but it's part of the business. That's how it goes.
No, yeah, it is. You got to completely lean into it and have fun with it. I have plenty of stories of getting cut, and they're a lot of they're funny now again, but at the time you're like, okay, and then you got to be optimistic right away and you got to move forward. And it's like the position I'm in now. It's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, this is a part of it. Like scoring my only touchdown is a part of it just as much as training and getting better and whatever, doing what we had the pleasure to do last week. How cool was last week, man? I mean, I told everybody first class gets from the NFL. What are some of your takeaways by it? I mean, I was just blown away.
Yeah. I was blown away by the education, the coaching, the experience in itself. I don't know if I had a quite understanding prior to it, all the different avenues you can get into, whether it be, the color analyst, a studio, radio, podcast, all these different things. And I just love the setup, how it was, okay, we'll coach you, 2 hours per class. We'll hit you on all the details of every different avenue. And then the next day was, it was your interview, right? You did everything live, you had a suit and all that kind of stuff. So it was an awesome experience, first class, the way they set it up, learned a ton, learning from the best in the business. So I will say, if you're interested, whether you're a current or former player, interested in that type of avenue, whether right now or when you're done playing, I would highly suggest applying for that. I think it was an unbelievable event.
Yeah, it's a must do for sure. I was just blown away by it. I mean, from the food to the transportation to everything, from flying to meet and greets to you're sitting in a room with Kurt Warner and Rich Eisen and Kurt Nagamakan, Mike Burton, KJ Wright.
Not me, Colin Thompson. I mean,
I wanted to raise my hand and be like, who? Let's all guess who the worst football player is in this room. It's like Chris Johnson, Lendell White, Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, it was a star-studded room for sure. But I loved everybody. Man, it was great. Guys were taking it seriously. They were studying. You could ask questions. Everybody was just really great communicating. And Kurt Warner and all the other staff was there, and it's like you're giving up your time to come help and coach us. Like it was a first class event. There's no question about it.
Yeah, he was Michael Robinson. Okay, so now as we move on, that's chapter 1 with Mike Burton, and I hope we can do this weekly. What is now? You're out in Denver. You're going to be doing some family time too. How does that process work? Because I know you're trying to be super dad, but also be super player too. What's the travel look like for you moving forward?
Yeah, so I'll try to get home as much as I can, on the weekends and things like that, and spend as much time as I can with the kids and my wife when I get home. And to me, it's all about quality, right? It's being present. It's being there when I get home. Putting the phone away, putting the distractions away. So because when I'm out here, it's all business, it's all football. It's getting better each and every day. It's eyes on the prize, Super Bowl. Want to get back to another one, and then when I'm home, with them, making sure I take the time, to be with them, be present, and be the best dad I can be, and be the best husband I can be. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
No doubt, man. I love trust me, we all do. We all want our whole families to be with us, but when you're by yourselves in OTAs, and you can travel on the weekends and all, because we're done Thursdays at like 2. It's really an unbelievable schedule that we have. But to get there, like from Sunday night to Thursday afternoon, and you're just there by yourself, and it focuses on like getting better. It's very back to college for me, and I think you would attest to that. It's like a comfortability zone where it's like, okay, I do this. Okay, I put the TV. I go home for dinner and just like unwind and watch like one episode of Netflix, and then start the recovery process or start on the playbook. Like, do you feel the same way about being there alone? It's tough. Of course, you want your whole family. You want a house that's huge up in the hills, but it's not always possible for every player in the league.
No, absolutely not. And I'm thankful and blessed to be in this position. I wouldn't change it for the world. When I'm out here, I love it. I'm all about it. Getting into a routine and just I mean, this is where you make your gains, right? This is where you separate yourself from the competition during this off season. You know, can't worry about what anybody else is doing. What are you doing to get better right now? And you'll be able to lead on these deposits come training camp and preseason and stuff like that. So I'm a huge off season is how you how you get above guys and improve and work on your fundamentals and kind of get back to the basics. So, I'm really enjoying the process right now for sure.
The great Mike Burton. I can't thank you enough for coming on, buddy. We appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to having you on here in the near future, bud.
Absolutely, my man. Thanks for having me on. It's always great chopping up with you. I appreciate you, brother.